Yourself in the mirror on the restroom door. Voices in her head that mirror what she's heard before.
Hey beautiful people, it's your girl Shakima. I'm just stopping in for a quick astro analysis for you guys. We are now moving into Cancer season, seeing as Gemini season has been so eventful. I hope that you guys have been able to kind of like keep up with the mutable energy that was definitely expressed during Gemini season. Before I do forget to mention, this is just going to be a general scope, giving you guys some insight into what's going to be taking place between the 21st to the 21st of June, right the way through until the 22nd of July. Once Cancer season sort of ends and we then sort of like move into Leo season and dealing with a completely different vibe and energy there. But before I do forget to mention, I hope you guys are having an awesome day, BTW. And if you're not having such a great day, try and shake it off, or at least try your best to work through it as best as you possibly can. All things considered, we are now sort of moving into more emotional settings of time. So there's a lot to be said for this season. Before I do forget to mention as well, guys, if you like my vibe and you want to be a part of the tribe, be sure to subscribe, okay? And hit the notification bell, that way you can be kept in the know when I do upload these awesome videos for you. And be sure to comment down below and let me know how the events of this season actually unfolds for you, or pretty much just let me know how you're actually sort of resonating with the information that I'm providing to you guys, okay? Now, all of that awesomeness out of the way, let's go and dive into the juice, guys. Let's go and get into it. So, we do have Cancer season sort of starting effectively on the 21st of June. The sun actually goes into Cancer on the 20th, around about 11:32 p.m. here for us, UK time. And I feel like even just looking at the numerology of that, Cancer season's definitely a gateway or a portal, if you will, to new beginnings that are pretty much allowing for our ascension process to take us further into our life purpose. You know, it's really quite amazing how the season actually starts off, because literally on the 20th, so today, the day that I'm actually filming this, Jupiter is actually gone retrograde in the sign of Pisces, and it's going to be in Pisces for a good little while. I'm going to plug the video so you guys can have a look and see just kind of like how that's going to unfold for you. I did a tarot scope for that, so you guys will be able to kind of like see how that trajectory of that 4 months journey is going to unfold for us as a collective. It's going to be interesting, to say the least. And yeah, so Jupiter goes retrograde in Pisces on the day before the sun moves into Cancer. So it's really more a time of us being able to kind of like peel back the layers of some of the perceived blessings and curses, if you will, the kind of like the lessons that comes with its own challenges, to be able to give us an opportunity to, you know, elevate ourselves. The first thing that I can see, just getting straight into the juice of everything, because I feel like I've already been talking for so long, I can't help it, guys. Mercury actually goes direct on the 22nd, so the sun goes into Cancer technically on the 20th, but we're experiencing it on the 21st, let's say. And a day later, on the 22nd of June, around about 6 in the evening, Mercury actually goes direct in the sign of Gemini, in its home sign. So we are getting a little bit more clarity. We're getting a little bit more open with certain communication and dialogue, and being able to articulate and express ourselves again, because during the Mercury retrograde, I don't know how you guys find it, but it was really quite hazy. It was difficult. You could feel all of these feelings beneath the surface, but being able to kind of like put words to them or bring sound to them was really almost quite explosive if it wasn't unpacked appropriately, simply because Mercury was in retrograde as well, so we had a lot going on. But now Mercury's gone direct, or is going direct on the 22nd of June. And it's really just, again, all about self-mastery. Like, once Mercury goes direct again, 22nd, you know, that's really elevating our ability to I guess unify the different parts of ourselves. So it's really about union. I feel like for myself personally, what the Mercury retrograde kind of like taught me was about my shadow side a little bit more, and about how it also has a right by the laws of the universe to be able to articulate and express itself, and how it chooses to do so is my right in my will. And also it has a right to be able to I guess resound the right to make its own decisions as well, because sometimes we kind of like suppress our shadow side, and it just kind of like builds more infestation internally. For the sake of avoiding conflict, or for the sake of just wanting to be a nice person. So we are literally taking what we've learned during the Mercury retrograde, and we are utilizing that as an opportunity to elevate our self-mastery. Moving into the Cancer season, that's literally the day after, guys. So this is all about the season of self-mastery. We're mastering laying the foundations within our home. Cancer is universally our fourth house. And that's definitely all about stability, or maintaining or building stability, re-observing our finances as well. I want to say that when we think about stability, it's natural for us to kind of like put the two together. So we are going to be kind of like, I guess, focusing or honing in on that. During this season, there may be opportunities that might show up now that Mercury is no longer in retrograde. So certain communications that you've been waiting for may now start to come in during, I guess, from the 22nd onwards. So during Cancer season, from the 22nd onwards. And we're really going to be able to get an opportunity to just show what we've learned in terms of being able to communicate some of those sides, because the shadows are still there. I think what the retrogrades do, particularly Mercury retrograde as well, is just highlight their existence to us. It kind of like merges almost, or creates this very thin veil of distortion between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, and being able to kind of like point out areas that may not necessarily be all the way aligned, so we kind of like get a zoomed out perspective, you know, because the conscious mind, it's kind of like the browsers almost of our computer screen, right? So we get to zoom out a little bit and see what's going on the other browser screens, and maybe just kind of like put everything together and see how it all sort of like fits in there. But a couple days later, after we've got Mercury going direct in its home sign in Cancer on the 22nd, we've actually got Saturn sextiling Chiron on the 24th of June. So Saturn's retrograde in Aquarius when this is happening. So for me, what this is kind of like saying is that we're also kind of learning how to master some of the disappointments in our public debut. The way that we're showing up in society, the way that we're showing up in friendships, the way that we're kind of engaging in our colleague dynamics, or the friendship dynamic that is brewing within the colleague circumstances that we're navigating through as well. So we're really kind of engaging in the energies of that on the 24th of June. On that very same day, on the 24th, we actually also have full moon in Capricorn, roughly around about 2:40 in the afternoon here for us. So this is going to be an interesting one for us. Definitely going to be an interesting one for us. So we've got this, right, guys? I just have to take this all in, because it seems like Cancer season. This is the first time I'm actually like observing what's going on. So I'm giving it to you guys raw, right? Looking at what's taking place in the first week of Cancer season, it is bloody explosive, guys. We've got a lot going on. Oh my God. Okay. So on the 24th, we've got Saturn sextiling Chiron. Saturn's retrograde in Aquarius, and Chiron's just out here doing its thing, flexing its muscles in Aries, like going back to some of the wounded parts of our identities, and really just kind of like focusing on that, and really you know, refining some of the mess, I guess, that's still in the waters that are under the bridge. I mean, the bridge was great to be able to kind of like build a means of relation, to formulate relationship, but shit got messy under that, and that still exists, and we're having to kind of like clean that stuff up a little bit. But on the 25th, so we've got the Saturn sextile Chiron on the 24th with the Capricorn full moon. this is going to be interesting. I'm going to pick a crystal reading for us for the Capricorn full moon as well. Simply because I'm a Capricorn moon. And this is going to be an interesting one. I can feel the energies of it already. Kind of my avatar's like acting up. I've kind of been feeling my little wisdom tooth that came up during the Pisces new moon season. That actually hit me really hard. I grew a whole wisdom tooth and shifted a whole identity during that season. Because I'm also Virgo rising, so that was like a double charge up for me. So this is going to be charging my emotional affairs a little bit, and considering that Saturn sextiling Chiron, I'm really having to basically go and face some of my personal circumstances when it comes to friendship dynamics, and just making sure that I'm on top of the public debut and how I'm showing up. So this is interesting. So we've got a scripture, guys. I don't know what scripture it is, but it's saying, "For the Lord shall be thy confidence and shall keep thy foot." For the Lord shall be thy confidence and shall keep thy foot. If you guys know what scripture that is, because I couldn't quite see it on my phone, just because of the actual like way that everything's positioned at the minute, but let me know what scripture that is, because God is speaking. My guides are out here just kind of letting me know that as long as I'm confident, I'm sure that everything's actually going to be okay. And I feel that way. Let me know how you guys are feeling. Comment down below. How are you feeling for Cancer season? Are you happy to be over Gemini season? Are you glad you've made it through Gemini season? Like, where are you with everything? This is where we've actually got the opportunity to really dive into retrograde season. So on that note, guys, on the 25th of June, we've got Neptune now joining the gang of retrograde planets, really giving us an opportunity to be able to work some ish out. Now, Neptune is joining the Jupiter gang, being retrograde in Pisces. So this is two planets that's going to be retrograde in my sun sign. This is going to be tragic, guys. This is going to be excitingly tragic. Right, so taking this away from myself, guys, Neptune goes retrograde in Pisces on the 25th of June. So we're definitely going to be really going back to some of our old issues and addressing some of those subconscious issues, those psychological issues that are taking place, and kind of like kind of feels like psycholatry gloops, like glitches, I should say. It's kind of like you find yourself going around in the same circle and cycle of karmic situations, but you feel like you've already like learnt your lesson. But clearly you're kind of like brushing things up and fine-tuning things. This, my loves, may be a period where you might kind of have to, because Jupiter's also retrograde in Pisces, 11 degrees of Pisces at that, is sort of like when it starts off today on the 20th. But it seems as though, right, it's almost as though we're being asked during the 25th, like when the Cancer season's sort of like into day 5. It's going to be a really tragic day 5, right? So we're learning about breaking free now. We're learning about breaking free from old habits, old subconscious patterns. Addictions are going to come up, and addictions aren't necessarily just to habitual routines and behaviors. It's also people, it's also drugs, it's also addictive behavioral patterns. When you notice yourself doing something, or you see yourself falling into a pattern of something that you know is going to lead you down a road that you feel as though you've already overcome, you basically have to figure out how you're going to disrupt those patterns. We're going into that class as of the 25th of June. So that's going to be interesting, guys. And the thing that we have assisting us with this is Venus and her lovely energy going into fiery Leo on the 27th of June. So that's going to be interesting. 2 days after the Neptune retrograde, we've got Venus entering Leo just in the afternoon. Okay, so just looking at the scope of all of this, I'm really just trying to sort of like sit with that. This is really about giving us an opportunity to have creative changes that are really going to impact our financial stability, especially surrounding our home situations. But there's going to be a lot of passionate energy, and we're going to have to figure out how to be able to express and exert and exude the fiery and passionate energy of Leo. Venus is feeling good, y'all. She's feeling lit. She's feeling confident. She's feeling like she's got this, actually. Now, that's pretty much the first week of Cancer season wrapped up. Now, the second week of Cancer season seems to be just us figuring out how to navigate through all of these changes because we've got a little bit of, I wouldn't say a break, but the next, I guess, major aspect that's taking place astrologically is that we've got the last quarter moon kind of taking place on the 1st of July in Aries. So this is kind of like, so this is the last quarter. So this is interesting. So this is letting me know. So we've had two eclipses. We've had a lunar eclipse and I think a solar eclipse as well. I'm trying to think if it was a total or penumbral lunar eclipse. But either way, my loves, what we do have is that the last quarter is taking place in Aries. So this is the last chapter maybe of closing out some of these emotional cycles that we've been navigating through. I really want to say that looking at the chart, it seems as though when it comes to these friendship dynamics and these insecurities about our public debut, we may be going into a different class, we may be leveling up into a different grade, if you will, but definitely we're not dealing with it at the same level that we were used to dealing with it before, or we're not engaging with it in the same way that we used to engage in it before, which is nice, guys. That's nice. So that's kicking off July. So that's the 1st of July, which is awesome. I really can appreciate that. And we've got on the 3rd of July, 2 days later, we've got Jupiter quintiling Uranus. So Jupiter's retrograde in Pisces still. And it's right now, where were we, guys? So July is looking pretty action-packed. So 1st of July, we've got the last quarter moon. 3rd of July, we've got Jupiter, which is retrograde in Pisces, quintiling Uranus in Taurus, giving us an opportunity to really reevaluate some of the blessings in terms of our structure, or things that used to work for us in terms of the structure that isn't necessarily working anymore. It's not allowing for us to preserve our energy. It's not allowing for us to be able to persevere is what I'm hearing. It's not the direction that we are being guided into any longer. Perseverance no longer exists in where we are with situations where we're kind of like being guided into a completely different direction. And we're going to be navigating through that, I guess, for that week once Jupiter actually does quintile Uranus. And that's taking place on Saturday, the 3rd of July, and we've got a good 4 or 5 days, I want to say, where we're just kind of again navigating through these imminent changes, navigating through just what's been taking place in the last few days or couple of weeks of the Cancer season thus far. I want to say the numbers of what's actually occurring as well is really quite interesting, because it seems like July is all about the changes, like actually like seeing the changes. I feel like the end of June will be putting and constructing the changes together from what I can see in the charts, and July is where we'll be able to start to see the remnants of those changes manifested here in the 3D. What I do also want to say, on the 9th, we do have the 9th of July, we've got a new moon in Cancer. So this is Cancer season's new moon. So all my Cancer baby, sun, moon, and rising babies, they're definitely obviously going to be going through their charge up during this particular transit. So this is going to be an interesting one, I'm sure, because we do also have Mercury entering Cancer 2 days later on the 11th of July. So Cancer season, again, our mind is going back into just being able to look at some of our maternal wounds. I want to just really address that, because that's the main thing that I'm seeing. Like, we're going back into our maternal wound files, not just wounds, but also maternal roles and identities. So how we see ourselves as mothers, based on how we've been mothered, and how those situations are affecting and impacting us psychologically. We're going to be kind of like navigating through that during the Cancer new moon season, and that's starting on the 9th of July. And Mercury entering into Cancer is actually, I guess, allowing for us to go deeper into that on a conscious and subconscious level as well, because we've got both Neptune and Jupiter retrograde in Pisces, helping us to be able to gain access to those files. Okay, and really, again, take an opportunity to decide whether or not we want to do something about these types of tragic endings, I guess, because there would have been a lot of endings that occurred during eclipse season, and you may still be picking up the pieces of your old identities as you're kind of like navigating through all of this awesomeness that's occurring for us now that we are effectively in retrograde season. But on that note, we actually also have a couple of retrogrades taking place back to back. So on the 14th of July, we've got Pallas going retrograde in Pisces as well. Okay, so giving us an opportunity, guys, to close out these chapters, really giving us an opportunity to close out the chapters that are no longer serving us, and giving us more of an opportunity to be able to refine our new identity. Because on the 15th of July, we've also got Chiron going retrograde in Aries, and Chiron's basically saying, do you know what? I agree. I think that I do need to be able to go back and refine this identity of mine, because there are certain ideologies that are particularly affecting my ability to be able to move forward, particularly to do with my maternal relationship with myself, my maternal relationship with others, my ability to mother myself and others as we're navigating through emotional turbulence and otherwise, because, you know, happy times are there to be mothered to. That has to be managed. Emotions are things that has to be managed. That's why we're here trying to figure all this shit out, right? Okay, so on the 17th of July, that's my bro's birthday, so birthday wishes to my brother there. On the actual 17th of July, we have, guys, the first quarter moon. Now, the first quarter moon is taking place in Libra, so we are getting an opportunity, guys, to start fresh in our romantic relationships, in our business partnerships, in our friendships. Like, this month is really helping us to kind of like readdress some of the maternal wounds that are actually affecting our friendships. Because, you know, when we deal with maternal relationships, depending on the way that we've been mothered, we're actually also engaging in a friendship with our parents as well. And that's where it gets tricky. Because, you know, a friend gets to know you in a different way to the way that a parent knows you. And I think some of our wounds are actually from the disappointment in our friend and less about the disappointment in our parental relationship. For some of us, it is more definitely about the parental side, because you feel like there's been neglect, you feel like there's been abandonment, you feel like there's been rejection of responsibility almost, you know, and you're having to kind of like navigate through the space of that to kind of see how that's affected your ability to select friends appropriately. People that care, people that are nurturing, people that are going to be able to be there for the highs and lows, peaks and valleys of life, if you will. So we get an opportunity as of the 17th of July. Can I just say, guys, thank heavens for that. I was going to say the other word. I was going to drop an F-bomb right there. But I'm trying to work on my potty mouth. I say that all the time, but because I have to be on here, and I actually do want to be able to connect with the younger lot of people, because I feel like they need to understand this stuff more so than anyone else, because they're going to continue to be affected by these circumstances long after we're no longer here. But I digress. On the 19th, 2 days after we had the first quarter moon in July, we are in Libra, we actually have Vestas entering Libra as well. So it's really kind of letting me know that the universe is supporting these new changes. The universe is supporting these new upgrades in terms of the way that we're engaging in our romantic relationships, our business partnerships, and our friendships alike. The universe supports it. It actually is asking us to kind of like it's basically doing some light working there, because that's taking place on the 19th. On the 17th, we've got the first quarter moon taking place in Libra. Kind of like, just looking at the numerology there, it's about creating the possibilities of abundance just by being able to kind of persevere and overcome. And there's a spiritual victory that's kind of almost in effect taking place on the 17th, or around about the scope of that time, where it can prepare us for Vestas entering into Libra, to further support this light that is coming through the heavens to help us realign these dynamics, you know, our business partnerships, friendships, and romantic relationships alike. On the 21st of July, closing out Cancer season, Venus then goes and enters into Virgo, preparing herself for Leo season, you know, making sure that she is in a position to almost really look at the finer details of, because Leo tends to be a little bit egotistical. So really just looking at the finer details of how the ego is overriding certain programs maybe, or how, I guess, little control some of us have over our egoic identity. So that's going to be an interesting season in itself, but I don't want to dive into Leo season before it is here, guys. So I'm going to let that one sort of like speak for itself once we're there. But it seems like it's going to be an interesting season for us. The first week of Cancer season is very, very intense by the looks of it, but it seems as though by the time we're coming down to the end of Cancer season, so we start off looking at our maternal relationships and our friendships, healing from some of the friendships that hasn't necessarily sort of like worked out. But it seems as though once we kind of go into July, that's when we're really actually at that place where we can start to create new beginnings in those types of dynamics, really start to create new beginnings in our romantic relationships, business partnerships, and friendships. The end of June seems to be more of kind of like a resting state, to be able to prepare for all of the changes almost that's going to be taking place in July for us, because retrograde season is definitely in full effect, guys. It's definitely in full effect. So we're going to have a lot going on. Definitely comment down below and let me know how you guys actually find the end of June in comparison to July for this Cancer season, because it seems as though the end of June is really, it's going to kick butts in a good way. In a good way. I feel like it's in a good way, because it's literally just one of those things where it's going to give us an opportunity to get that stability in check, like really be able to kind of like hone in on things and really look at where we need to do things differently, and actually put action into play, or at least put the plan into scope so that the action can easily fall into play. So that is it, guys. That's pretty much everything from me. Thank you guys for hanging in there. It was definitely longer than I anticipated. I hope that you guys are able to stick it out with me for the entire duration. If you do like my vibe, guys, and you feel like you resonate with me, then definitely be sure to join the tribe. I'd love to have you. Hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell. That way you can be kept in the know of when I do upload these awesome videos for you, my loves. And on that note, I'm going to love you guys and leave it there for you guys. Enjoy Cancer season. It shall be a treat, depending on how we treat it. We're going into new classes, guys. We are leaving a class at the end of June and we're entering into a new classroom in the start of July. So enjoy the ride, okay? I'm sending you much love, beautiful. On till the next video, I am going to love you guys and leave it there for you. See you then. Mwah. Take care, guys. Ta-ra.
Things they said to hold her back, they never seem to leave her head and tend to keep her mind at war. All the things they said to hold